Welcome to MyBinding.com. In this video I'll be explaining two ways to do one-sided lamination with a roll laminator. You can do one-sided lamination with one film roll on top and a roll of craft paper on the bottom, or you can do it with two film rolls on both top and bottom. The craft paper route is the simplest to manage because you're putting in one project at a time. This method is probably the best for larger laminators. That way you fit multiple projects within the wide span of the film. You have to make sure that the craft paper roll fits the dimensions of your laminator, both core thickness and length of the roll, and is threaded on like any normal film roll. One very important thing is that the film should not overlap the craft paper, because your adhesive would then get onto the heat rollers. The craft paper should always be wider than the film, so keep this in mind when finding the right size of rolls. You can see here that my margin is very small, but since the roll never moves from side to side, it still works. And as the project comes out with this laminator that trims the sides, you can see how the project is separate from the paper below. The next method is to use a laminator as you normally would expect. This time you have to take your projects and put them back to back, with the printed side facing out on both sides. The thing is, your projects need to be the same size and perfectly aligned. That way when it runs through, no adhesive can get on any other part of the project. If your projects are not aligned perfectly, then the adhesive will stick to the back of both projects, requiring you to trim off a lot more. Now with any roll lamination project, no matter what you're doing, you will always need to trim your project to size using a guillotine or rolling cutter. The better you align your projects, the less you have to trim. To decide which is best for you, first, the craft paper route is easier to manage because you only have to put in one project at a time. A paper roll is going to cost a lot less than another roll of lamination film, and if you're working with several sized projects at once, then craft paper is the way to go. With a double film approach, you can potentially work twice as fast, inserting two projects at once. And if you already have a laminator with two rolls on it already, well then there's really no need to change it. And if you need a quick one-sided project, you can always put a scrap paper under it instead of another project. This is just more wasteful, and we try to avoid it.